Hello, good people, and welcome back. That marks the end of our introduction to types in Python. Right now, I want us to shift gears a little bit. I want us to start talking about branches. Yeah. So we're going to start what we call branches. So what we mean by branches? Now, an example, I know each one of us knows a tree, right? So we're going to talk about branch. Each one of us knows of a tree, right? So basically the reason why we call these module branches is because tree has a lot of branches, right? So if you miss one of the tree, you go to the next one. Basically this is what happens. Like a tree has branches. So basically we want to talk over, basically we are running up, we call it branch because we're going to talk of it, and our examples will be more or less of how a tree looks like, right? If this happens, go to this, right? Basically we're going to do basically introduction to branches. So we're going to use an example of a restaurant, right? So if let's say, okay, I'm going to use an example of, yes, let's say a restaurant. So let's say this restaurant has places for people to go and enjoy themselves. So it is said, normally people who have I wish we could see the image. We just can't see the image. Okay. So here we have this. Let's just. So we have a. Let me just comment this up. So we have a hotel, right? I want us to use this example to basically bring ourselves up to date with what we're trying to mean here. So we have a hotel. So for a hotel, most of the time we normally have discounts, right? So discounts normally occur for people who are young, right? A young age. So children normally have discounts, right? So how will you be able to know this is a child? So you will create an if statement, check age, right? So the if statement will be using age to determine the discount. Age to determine discount. I hope that's clear. You use the age of your client to determine the discount they're going to get. So you want to. So basically, a branch is a sequence of statements only executed under certain condition. So basically this is a sequence of statements under a certain condition. That's now where our example comes in. For example, okay, let me just rephrase it. A hotel may discount a price, right? Only for people, okay, I'd say young people, young age and old age have discount. Okay, it's not a, so discounts are for young age and small people, young people. So hotel can discount price for people above 65. Now let's just go with old age. For people above 65. So how will our if branch looks like now that we want to execute under conditions? So we are going to condition our discounts to be only for old age, which we've said is above 65. Sorry, above 65, right? Now, so how will our output be like? So our output will be we're going to say the rate they're going to give out. The rate is 155, right? So you're going to take user age, right? We're going to get input for user age, and then we're going to check using an if statement. So we're going to say if user age, which they just entered, is greater than 65. So if it is true, as shown here, so if it is true, we'll say hotel rate, which is 155, we'll subtract 20. Clear? So if it is false, if the user age is 64, 63, 50, right? So it means it's false. So it will output the rate of the user. If you just tell them your rate is this, now without the discount. We've said discount only appears if you're above 65. So this is to encourage older people out of our facility. That's an example of where condition statement happens. So it only happens where a certain condition. Our condition here will be you are above 65. If you are above 65, you get 20 shillings. You get 20 less. You given a discount of 20. I hope that's clear. Let's proceed and we'll get more of this. We'll write our first program will be for this. I hope that's clear of the introduction to branching the if statements. So let's say this is our loop. This is our branch, right? Now, if user age is 20, does the true or false branch execute? The user age is 20, right? What's the output that's expected here? Basically, we've said if user age is greater than 65, it will go to true. So basically, if the user age is 20, false branch will execute. Yeah. If user age is 20, does the executed branch update hotel rate? It doesn't update the hotel rate because it will still go to false, right? I hope that's clear over how the if statement works, right? So if the user age is greater than 65, you have a discount. If not, you don't have a discount. So basically you'll have the normal rate. So how do we get basically, okay, I've shown you an image of how the whole process goes, whereby the computer will check if this is true, this will happen. If it's not, if it's false, then it will proceed as usual. I hope that's clear. We've seen the if branch. So let's see if else. I hope that's clear. I'm not fast to understand the if. So we've said if user age is less than 65, you don't get the discount. If it is greater or equal to 65, you get a discount. So let's talk of the if else branch. So basically this will have two branches. So this will have two branches, right? The if and the else. So if this is true, execute this. Else, basically this gives you an option of whereby the first branch fails, right? Yeah, sorry about that. Basically, the first branch is executed if an expression is true, right? So this will have if an expression is true, expression is true, we execute first branch. What if it's wrong? What if it's false? So we'll say else the other branch, else execute I hope we understand that. If it's true, if it is false, execute this. So we have this if here, else execute this. I hope from the basically this shows an if else statement. If this is true, execute this. Else, continue with this. Right? I hope we're clear about that. If the first statement is true, go with it. Else, execute the next one. I hope that's clear. And we'll write an example of how the if else statements comes in. We also have how we can have more than one branch. Basically we say if else if no basically whereby let's use an if else to get marks, right? So we have two inputs. Stay with me. We have two inputs, right? We have x input and y input. Remember, we want to use the if else to get the max, what's the max. So basically we're going to do a check of is x is greater than y, right? We've taken an input from x, then we have another input from y, so we want to check the max, like which is the maximum, right? We have two numbers, so we'll check which is the maximum between the two, which one is the highest. So what happens is, so we'll do max of x and y. If x is max, we'll output max as y. If it's x, we'll do x. So basically we're going to check if x is greater than y, right? Okay, I'm already writing the. So this is what we're going to check, right? If x is greater than y, if this equates to true, we've said in our if statement, if an expression is true, if x is greater than y, so we'll say x is greater. X is greater. What if our statement is false? Then it means, if this is false, then it means y is greater. So then we'll just say y is greater. I hope our explanation to if else is correct. So if this is this, then we'll just output else y is greater, right? That's how if else comes in. So we've taken an input X from a user, we've taken an input Y from a user, so we now have two inputs from a user. We want to compare them. So we use this is X greater than Y. So we are going to say if, then we pass the comparison, X is greater than Y. If that's true, then we say X is greater. Else, if this is false, if this returns a false output, then it means the Y is greater than X. Hope that's clear on X and Y. So if we have an input here, let's do it. Input of 3, input of 0, right? So X is 3, Y is 0. So it means it will be 3 is greater than 0. It will return a true. So it will output X is greater, right? Another example, if we have example, if we say 3 and 0, let's say -3 or -5, -5 and 0. So if it's -5 and 0, let's say -5 here, sorry, -5, then you have 0 as well. So it means -5 here is greater than 0. That will return a false. So this will be false. So it will be else. So the point being executed will be else, right? Because the if statement is wrong, is false. So it goes to the next statement, which is the else statement. So it will be Y. I hope that's clear. We have another. As we proceed, we started with if, then we came to if else. So another branch we have if else if, right? If else branches. So basically we have a branch of this as well. Basically these are branches. So if branch, else branch, if else if branch. So for this one, basically it will output it will check the first input. So this one is mainly used for multiple 3 or more than 3, basically 3 or more. Basically we want to check 3 or more branches. Hope that's clear for this. Yeah. So we want to check 3 or more. This takes 1, this takes 2, this takes 3 or more. So for the first one we say if else, just one branch. Next one, if else branch, say if. So the first one say just if, that's the one. This one takes 2, we say if else, that's 2. This one takes 3, if else, that's 3. Then you can now take more, if else, to whichever number. So this if branch takes 1. So this is 1. This takes 2, and this takes 3 or multiple. So I hope that's clear. 3 or more. Yeah, I hope that's clear. So basically we'll want to, let's say you want to use the number of years, right? We want to check the number. Okay, it's a sequence. So each branch expression is checked in sequence. As soon as one branch expression is found to be true, that branch is taken. So for this one, each branch expression is checked in sequence. So this is happening in sequence. Basically the first one, the second one, third one, in that order. So once the truth is found, we go with that. And if we don't find a truth, we'll go with the else. So we use sequence to check. So if we find one truth, that branch is taken. I hope that's clear. If no expression is found to be true, then I will use the else. So a branch truth value, truth value, else we go with the else. Yeah, I hope that's clear. So basically that's an introduction of the if statements we're going to cover within, or how we're going to go through our branches tutorials. I hope that's clear. That's just an introduction to branches, how branches work, and small examples. We're going to dive into if else branches from our next recording. Let me hear what you have to say in the comment section. Let's meet in our next class. Happy coding.